Ba weep grana weep mini bong, and welcome back to the Justin Network. Today we're going to be reviewing the Decepticon, the Stunticon, Wildrider from the Transformers Legacy. He is a deluxe class figure, and we're giving you some good looks. Wildrider here. He is 2 of 5 on the Minosaur, so Stunticons can combine together to make Minosaur, kind of like the Kill Bison that we had in that one episode that we reviewed. So this is one part of Minosaur. Alright, and here is Stunticon Wildrider. He, I will go ahead and say, has some nice colors in my opinion. Face sculpt, it's not bad, it's not perfect. I think they could have done a smidge better. I mean, it does look like Wildrider, but at the same time, I think they could have done a little better there in that department for me personally. I also will go ahead and tell you, I don't love all of this. This whole big backpack thing. It's not like that when you first get out of the package, so it's not properly transformed out of the package. And it just doesn't... I looked up to make sure I've done it right. It keeps moving on me. I've looked up to make sure that I've done it right. It's right, but it doesn't look good. I don't like that at all. It's like, what is this big thing? It's just in the way to me. It's an eyesore. Don't like that at all. He's got, obviously, a turn right there. As you can see at his elbow, it will move. It locks in right there. It's got a spin right there at the bicep. His head will spin all the way around. He's also got waist swivel there. Stunticons are some of my favorite out of the combiner teams. I would say they're probably my favorite Decepticon combiner team. Either them or the Terracons. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Stunticons. I was excited for this figure for sure. I know that I'm going to have to spend a buku of money to get all the rest of them. This is the cheap one. I got him from Walmart.com. I know you can get him on a lot of different spots actually for a pretty good price. I've seen him on Amazon for a good price. Walmart, he's cheap. He's cheap. Cheap. So you definitely can get him, but at your own risk because you're going to want to get the rest of them so you can have the full team. And the other ones are definitely not cheap. He can do a full Jean-Claude Van Damme, very much so actually. His legs can go up pretty darn high. That hurts just looking at it times 2, I would say. That's, whew.
That hurts me just looking at it.
And then, yep, he can. T-pose for him. Colors are pretty good though. I think the paint looks real well. This keeps moving on me and it's not fun, don't like it. Like I said, his head sculpt's not awful. It's just not great. It does keep wanting to do that, as you can see. That's part of his transformation. That doesn't want to stay. I've got it pushed in there, but it doesn't want to stay super well. It could just be my copy, but that's definitely something to think about when you're looking at this guy. So he also is gonna come with 2 blasters here. As you can see, they are identical. And they will plug into each other. So you've got that option. Either one plugs into either side of either. And let's see how well they fit into his hands here. So yeah, they're fitting in there kind of loosely. They don't feel like they go in as far as they should. But they're there. He's got him. He's got a good hold on him. I don't think... They're loose, but they're not going to fall out. Maybe they're not even loose. They just don't go in as deep as you would hope.
That's what she said.
But we've got him here. I like the double pistol type. Looks pretty cool. I think it already adds a lot to him, making him look a lot more menacing. Gives him a bounty hunter look almost. But yeah, let's go ahead, get him transformed, see what we're thinking about this alt mode. Alright, here is Wildrider transformed in his alt mode. This is a good looking car, right? I think it looks great. That was the whole thing with the Stunticons. They changed into cool cars, which was different because all other Decepticons have been like planes and things. The only ones that had been cars at the time were Autobots, so you got some Decepticon cars, and this is a cool looking car. I agree, but I have some issues with it. So, you see right in there that big gap, right? So when I push up to kind of close that gap, now this part comes up. And see, now there's a gap there. If I push this back in to fix that gap, that creates that gap. I can't, there's no workaround that from what I'm seeing, unfortunately. And it's frustrating me a little bit when I was trying to play with it, but no, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So, roll test. Okay, let's try doing it roll test this way. So as you can see, it's more of a slide than a roll. His tires can roll, well, the back tires barely even roll with any resistance. That one rolls. That one doesn't hardly, for whatever reason, but yeah. Same with this one on this side. Yeah. So these tires don't roll very well even without any resistance. But some of the problems is how much his feet come off the bottom. I think his chest is even a little bit of an issue. But yeah, he's not rolling, unfortunately. He is just sliding around.
Just hanging around.
Which that bothers me a decent amount because the whole thing with Transformers is they're two different things, right? They're a robot, they're a car, a plane, a dinosaur, whatever. Well, if you have a car, you want to be able to roll the car around, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Hasbro, what are we doing? Some of these third-party companies and knockoff companies is doing this pretty decently well. I just feel like if we have a car, the car should be able to roll and roll well. The fact that his wheels don't even turn super well off the ground, a little bit of a concern for me. Not loving that. Hasbro, I think you can do better. Other than that though, yeah, besides that gaps and such, it is a very good looking car. It's nice, it's cool, I do enjoy it. Looks very cool, even with all the way it forms together. His blasters that he has will plug in right there on top. Both will go in there. I do wish there was a way that we didn't have this giant knob sticking out of the side, but that's alright, I get it. It's so they can plug together, so they can be one. But yeah, there they are on top. I think that actually looks pretty decent. I think a lot of times when you plug the guns in on these Hasbro figures in their alt mode, doesn't look too good. But here, I think it looks pretty fine. I don't mind it at all. I think it is extra fine because he's a Decepticon. I will say one thing I keep looking back on, this Decepticon symbol right here on his hood looks incredible. And the red, see-through plastic on his windshields look awesome as well. The colors look great. They did a really good job with the coloring on this figure. I will say, in his alt mode, his bot mode, it all gets shown off really well color-wise. Since we have him here in his vehicle mode, let's go ahead and measure him out. From end to end, he's slightly under 5 inches. Width here, he's gonna be about a little over 2 inches. Alright, now he's back in his bot mode. Let's measure him up here. From the bottom of his feet to the top of his head, gonna be about 5 1/4 inches. Let's also measure out his blasters, just for funsies. They're gonna be about 2 7/8 inches, pretty close to something like that. And while we have him here, you know, now we need to measure him up against some of the other figures we've messed with on this channel recently. Stand him up to Studio Series Buzzworthy Bumblebee Cup. Cup's got a little bit of height on him there. Speaking of Kill Bison, how about we put him up against Iron Factory Kill Bison. As we can see, he's got a lot of size on him. And there he is with Authentics Megatron. As you can see, Authentics Megatron's got a good bit of height on him, which the Authentics figures do on most of the other figures we look at on this channel, especially when it's a deluxe class. Alright, now we move on to one of my favorite parts of every video, the rankings part of the video. So first off, we're going to look at Wildrider's functionality. Remember, functionality is going to be the articulation, accessory storage, his posing, all that good stuff. I gave him a 7. He's got pretty good movement in everywhere, really. I mean, he's got most of the things you would want. Doesn't have a spin at his wrist, but he does have pretty solid accessories. They have pretty good storage. Not necessarily, I guess, when he's in his bot mode, but had what looked good of storage in his alt mode. And like I said, he's got good movement. He's composed pretty well, so I think he deserves that. Next up, we're talking about transformation. Transformation was not necessarily all that lovely. Remember, transformation is going to be ranked on how hard it is to transform, how fun, how easy, and how creative. Creativity, there wasn't a lot there. Now, was there a lot of steps? Not really. It was kind of simple when it came to that, but there was a lot of expecting things to just move around in ways that were not as easy as they expect it to be or act like it's going to be. With these arms being down, I'm sure you even kind of saw it when you watched me transform him. Some of this stuff just gets stuck on each other. Putting this in was not, I mean, maybe it's just my copy. This going down and going in was not working very well for me. I just was not a fan, did not have fun transforming this guy. I was let down here. I did not like it too awful much. Hey, sorry, future editor Justin here. I forgot to say, for whatever reason, that he got a 5 there. Yeah, so, hope y'all are enjoying the video. Next up is his appearance. So, I will say I was a little hard on the face sculpt. I think it's just a little thinner than I would like. I was looking at more pictures from what he looked like in G1. I think that's why it doesn't look perfect to me on the face sculpt. His colors, though, were great. Remember, I liked his alt mode, but I didn't like those cracks. There was cracks and moving. Yeah, I just didn't love that. And then I don't like this at all. I've given him that 6. Maybe he doesn't deserve it. Maybe he does. Maybe you would give him higher or lower. Let me know in the comments. The car, like I said, looked pretty good. I did like it, but I went with the 6. I think they could have done a lot better, but they could have done worse also. So that's what Wildrider got, 756. Those are pretty respectable numbers for a figure that, honestly, in my opinion, is lacking. Between the terrible backpack, the awkward transformation, and I don't know if y'all have noticed this, he keeps wanting to lean to this one foot. I know it's hard to notice when... Hold on. Look, you'll notice. See? When you set him up, he goes to that foot constantly. I've actually had to constantly be doing this in between takes when I move him, so he'll stand up straight. There's just a lot of stuff on this figure that is frustrating and not up to what I expected, the quality that I think we should be expecting. So, Wildrider, love you, buddy. Love the Stunticons. Hasbro will love you too, but you guys could have done better, and we all know it, even if the grades don't necessarily show that poor of an outing for you. I definitely think there's been figures that I've maybe ranked worse in certain departments that I like more than this one. Not saying I dislike this one, just not as good as I would have expected. But I think that's going to take us to the wrap up here. I just want to say thank you guys for continuing to subscribe, to like, to sharing, to commenting, to all that good stuff. Really appreciate you all, fans and viewers, and just you guys supporting is really what makes this channel keep going, and my love for the channel and my love for doing this. But I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I'll see you again next Tuesday. Until all are one, peace.